Well, here we go with the Bassmaster Elite Series. Welcome to the Toyota Bassmaster Studios. I'm Tommy Sanders, here with former Classic and Angler of the Year guy, Davey Height. And Davey, we started this season way back in the dead of winter up in the mountains of Tennessee, and we've come all the way to the end. Today we're going to focus on the final two events of the regular season, both of them bucket list places, Champlain and, of course, St. Clair. But it might be best to start by talking about how, even though the first day of the season counts as much as the final day, these guys have a lot more in their mind as we come into these last two.
You're exactly right, Tommy. They've got a lot going on in their mind because there's a lot at stake here. First and foremost, AOY, Brandon Polinick, Jason Christie, Jacob Wheeler, all year long they've been battling out. But you also have guys fighting for their fishing life, to be honest with you, making enough points to re-qualify for the Elite Series next year.
And if that weren't enough to think about, how about another plot twist to throw into this tournament right here? These anglers expected 4 days of fishing. Well, day number one, the wind blows out of the east. Champlain is a big place, a vast place, and when it's blowing out of the east and you're launching from Plattsburgh, it can be very dangerous for the anglers out there in travel. So they had to wipe out day number one. Here's the new scheme now. Thursday canceled, full field fishing on Friday, full field fishing on what would have been day 3, now it's day 2 Saturday, and then they only cut to the top 51 for the final day of fishing. That makes things very much complicated and a little bit complicated to follow. But if you've been following Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year, well, here's the man on top. And Davey, besides that finish at Lake Okeechobee, is a stellar season.
Yeah, he's having a stellar season, Tommy. After the finish at Lake Okeechobee, 105th, he has had a great year. Brandon Polinick loves to fish for these northern smallmouth. He's on some big ones using a spin bait.
Oh gosh, look at him behind it. Got him. Big ones. That's a big one. Oh gosh, stay on there. Stay on there. There's a whole bunch of them. Come on. No. Yes! That's what we needed right there. Little Rashi spin bait getting it done. Ah, yes. It's a good 3.5 pounder.
Very nice day, and you see that results in a good result for Brandon Polinick, keeping him in the top 25, and he's trying to hang on and doing a good job of hanging on to the top of that Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year race.
He is, but man, he has to catch him each and every day. The weights are so close. You know, he's in the top 25 with 18 pounds. Aaron Martin's got 18 pounds. He's about 10 places ahead of him. Got to catch him every single day, and this thing's up for grabs.
Yeah, Aaron Martin's a guy who knows the importance of finishing strong. Dave Mercer's caught up with him. Let's hear from them.
That's right, guys. We're about, as the crow flies, or whatever that term is, we're about 13 miles from takeoff and caught up with Aaron Martins. And one of the first things he said is the hog snatcher has returned. He's having an incredible day. He's got 4 largemouth, 1 smallmouth in the box, and really just told me he's conserving right now. He knows he's got to manage these fish throughout the tournament. His smallest fish, I believe, is a 3.3. He's just kind of conserving. He said he might head up shallow shortly and do a little bit of sight fishing. But right now, Aaron Martin's, the hog snatcher, has returned. And to all the A-Mart fans, that's very, very good news.
Well, thanks, Dave Mercer, and you're exactly right. The hog snatcher has returned. Everyone had to know that Aaron Martins would be back. He had a little lull there for about 1.5 years, honestly. But after winning Angler of the Year in a very dominant way, I've followed Aaron Martins my whole career. We fished together against one another for many, many years. He is definitely one of the greatest elite fishermen of all time.
Well, definitely a great day to start his tournament. Back on day number 1, 18 pounds, 8 ounces. To put him definitely in contention back there in 15th place in a tight field. And Davey, a decade ago, the guys would always be revved up to go to Champlain because it was a smallmouth factory. But now, mixed bags seem to be the way to go.
Well, mixed bags certainly the way to go. There's big smallmouth and largemouth at Lake Champlain. And you're right, all the fishermen get revved up, ready to go to Lake Champlain. Just an incredible fishery. Such a big fishery. It's so diverse. You can target whichever species you want. There you see Todd Faircloth, day 1 leader with a big bass, 6 pound, 1 ounce. And yes, it is a largemouth, and he's catching smallmouth also. I think it's real important at Lake Champlain to be able to target both species.
Let's take it to day 2 and the weigh-in there. Seth Fider comes in with 19 pounds and 15 ounces, including the day 2 big bass of 5 pounds and 8 ounces. So the man who finished strong last season, 2016, doing the same thing here in 2017. But the man of the hour after day 2 was this man, Jacob Wheeler.
20 pounds, 12 ounces.
38 pounds and 8 ounces, and a brand new leader in Jacob Wheeler.
Wheeler on top after 2 days of fishing. We're only fishing for 3 days, though, this time around. As we take a look at these weights, the thing that stands out, the top 8 are all within a pound of each other. The top 20 pretty much within 2 pounds. We've never had them this close this year.
Oh, it's day 3. It's kind of weird. It's the final day here. Lake Champlain, Bassmaster Elite. Fire it up, dude.
Feels weird, Championship Sunday, and there's 51 guys out here, but man, I'm in 3rd place. I'm 1 pound, 1 ounce behind the leader.
I'm in 2nd right now, but I think there's like a 5-way tie, an ounce behind me, so.
We still got 50 guys fishing, so there's potential to fall. It's a little bit different than our normal 12-cut deal, so you can't really go for broke quite as much.
1 day. I got 9 hours, $100,000 and a big trophy. Whew.
Anybody in the top 10 has a really, really good shot. If somebody catches a 5.5 or a 6 pounder.
You know, Wheeler's got a pound lead, that helps his cause a lot, but you know, that's not that big of a lead here.
It's just something special, you know. There's a bigger field. We have 51 anglers this time because we have a canceled day, so it's a 3-day shootout. We're a pound ahead, but I'm looking forward to getting back out here and seeing what goes down and put it all out there online today.
Wheeler with the 1 pound lead, and all of these guys underscoring the fact that this is a very different final day. With 51 anglers, hey, usually a final day, you've only got 12 guys who can hurt you. Here, as Steve Kennedy pointed out rightly, you can fall on this day. So as we get closer and closer to the end of the season, Davey, well, this day has become more and more important to hang on to your spot.
It's very important to hang on to your spot, and it depends on what you got going on. There's a lot of guys thinking about making a Bassmaster Classic, but people like Jacob Wheeler, he's got Angler of the Year on his mind, along with Brandon Polnick, Jason Christie, and a few other guys. Jacob Wheeler really knows this lake good. He's been on a good pattern. The problem with these smallmouth, you get these flurries going, you need to be able to put each and every one of these big fish in the boat.
There he is, big one. That's the time. Oh, that's a freaking giant, bub. I think it's a dang big and big. There's 100 of them there. Gosh, dude, do you see all them fish behind it? Oh, holy smokes. There's like 20 of them behind on. Look at this, EK. Look how many were with him. Watch it, look at this. That's all that was with him. All them fish were with him. But they won't bite a stupid drop shot. Like after they follow it in, they're smart. They aren't the ones we need. That one might be though. Oh, that's a freaking giant, bub. I think it's a dang big and big. Yeah, he ain't little. I'll put it this way, he ain't little. We're gonna freaking get you in the boat. Come here, bub.
Couple of good keepers for Jacob Wheeler there on that first fish, Davey. You got to see what a fishing machine this guy absolutely is. He is phenomenal.
He certainly is, Tommy. We've had a great chance to see him all season long on Bassmaster Live quite a bit. He's talked us through his techniques, his patterns, and quite an impressive young fisherman. Another impressive young fisherman is Seth Fighter. He's had a good season, and everyone feared this guy when we made this northern swing because he is known to be one of the best smallmouth fishermen in the country, period. One thing he's doing here is he's mixing up a little bit largemouth, smallmouth, but right here we've got him throwing a drop shot, something he loves to do, catching big smallmouth.
There we go. There we go. Stay on, baby. Stay on, baby. Come here. Yeah, bud. Yeah, bud.
I'll take him. 3-pounder. I do want it coming off. Getting the party started.
Getting it started, Seth Feider started the day in second place, a pound back of Jacob Wheeler, but only an ounce ahead of the next 3 guys, and that's kind of the way this final day is shaping up, Davey. You have got to keep your pace, you got to keep things going because there are so many guys so close behind you.
You're exactly right. Typically on a championship Sunday, you only have to worry about 11 other fishermen. On this particular championship Sunday, you have to worry about 50 other fishermen, Tommy.
Yeah, plenty more fishing to go on this championship Sunday, and who knows who's going to be standing atop it all at the end of the day. Going to be some big changes all day long.
Llama, llama.
The Bassmaster Elite at Champlain, presented by Dick Seatpack Tires and Wheels, is brought to you by Humminbird, Skeeter Boats, Toyota, and by Hook.
Final day of the 8th event of the season for the Bassmaster Elite Series on Lake Champlain. We have 51 anglers today because we had a day wiped out, and that means volatility on the scoreboard. You see Kelly J, who started this day, well, back in 8th place, and look at him with a huge lead for the moment. For the moment, because we're still just getting started on this day, Davey. Seth Feider started the day in 2nd place, just a pound back. He's kind of holding his own, though.
He's certainly holding his own, and I really like what he's doing. He's mixing up with largemouth and smallmouth. The field just keeps going back and forth because so many guys are just targeting those smallmouth, and there's tons of 3.5 or 4 pound smallmouth. The guys that can catch a big greenfish, a big largemouth bass are the ones that you really have to watch out for on the final day.
Well, let's get one of these guys working on the big green fish to offer us up the Skeeter Boats. Taste the bait. Here's Seth Feider.
This is a soon-to-be-released tungsten flipping jig from Outcast Tackle called the Stealth Fighter. There's a lot of tungsten jigs on the market, but they're all real finessey. This one's got a big hook in it, and we got big sizes too. We got 5/8 and 3/4. This thing's legit. I mean, I ain't in no hurry to go anywhere. You know, anywhere there's fish biting.
There we go. Oh my God, stay on, stay on, stay on. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Yeah! Woo! Beast! Beast! Look at him eating that jig. That's the kind that wins you 100 grand right there. Beast! Oh, that's how you win 100 grand right there. Just look at that thing. Mwah. It's like a 6-pounder, dude. Give me some. Yes. Llama, llama, llama. I said I wanted to go down and grab one flipping. That's like a 5-pound cull.
5-pound cull. Those are the 3 words that probably sound better than any other words you could say on the final day of a tournament. And Seth Feider there, he said, that's why we're spending some time on largemouth. You might run into a big one like that right there, and that puts him firmly in 1st place now. Aaron Martins, now we got to go out and take a look at Aaron Martins because he started the day, this is how close the fields are, Davey. Started the day in 19th place, and look at this, already in 4th place.
Yeah, it's really incredible how tight the field is. But what we just saw there with Seth Feider, and I think Aaron Martins is doing a little bit of the same thing, targeting largemouth. These guys know that the field is so close that anyone fishing today, all 51 anglers have a legitimate chance to win this thing, but they're going to have, in my opinion, they're going to have to catch a few of these largemouth.
Well, Aaron Martins back in 2014, you'll recall, he won 2 tournaments back-to-back. He won Lake Havasu, then went on to win Chesapeake Bay, so that was a fantastic year. On his way to a Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year title. He's not quite pulled into the top place competition in AOY this year, but boy, that's a good one right there to keep him moving forward up the leaderboard here at Lake Champlain.
He's moving up, Tommy, but someone we've seen move up the leaderboard in the second half of the day, every single day of this event, has been Brandon Lester. He's had a couple different patterns going on, but in the afternoon, he's fishing these jetties, these rock piles, the ends of these points, and he's been able to catch fish that helped him by several pounds at the end of the day on the previous 2 days.
So you can tell how red the color shading is, and it's a real hard bottom. This arch coming up off the bottom right here, that's a smallmouth. There's actually 2 or 3 of them down there. Like a little rough spot right out here, some isolated rock. Oh man, that's a big one there. That's one of them we need. Golly, that's a big one. Stay on, baby. Stay on there. That's a 4+ there. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Yes, sir. Boom. Look at that one, boys and girls. That's what we're looking for right there. Thank you, Lord. Freaking big one. That's the kind we need. God, they're so pretty.
Brandon Lester getting it done on the final day. The angler from Tennessee having his best tournament of the season, still looking for his first Elite Series win. But for now, Seth Feider has climbed from second to the top spot, but there is so much more fishing to go before we wind this thing up. Final day of the last tournament of the season, the Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain, presented by Dick Seapeck Tires and Wheels. Among those who are moving big time today, the man who came in here with Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Brandon Polinick, and all the rest of them. Davey, it's so hard to keep up with the changes because not only do we have 51 guys instead of 12 on this final day, they're catching them all day long. This is not one of these 7 or 8 keepers a day situations.
It's really not. Lake Champlain is as good as it's ever been, in my opinion. These guys are catching largemouth, smallmouth, and really good quality fish. But the key, in my opinion, is fishing for these largemouth bass.
Big. Yeah! It's not the 4-pounder, but we're there. We're there, dude.
Well, you really have to like what Seth Feider's doing here. He targeted smallmouth early in the day, and now he is replacing those smallmouth with some really quality largemouth bass. Up in this grass, flipping the milfoil with his jig, and you got to know that he has a chance to catch some big ones.
Absolutely. He has fallen from second down to fifth, now back up into fourth. Now the man in fifth place right here, the fellow who started the day with the lead, Indiana's Jacob Wheeler. Jacob Wheeler, of course, won our first stop of the season, Lake Cherokee, looking actually for his third Bassmaster Elite Series win right here. That's his flurries going with the smallmouth today, not the largemouth so far for him.
Yeah, Jacob Wheeler's done a good job. He's caught a lot of fish. Unfortunately for him, he's lost a few of those better smallmouth, but he's put a few good ones in the boat also.
Uh-oh. I don't want to be stupid because he could be a little bit bigger. He barely has it too, I know that. I see him just barely get it. Gosh, he's up underneath the boat now. Give up. I don't think it's a dang magnum, but I think it's a good one. Which you never know if you're gonna lose that fish or not, but gosh dang. Yeah, it's a dang big one, bub. Gosh dang big one, bub. Boom! What about that, boys and girls? Yeah! Freaking magnum. It's a magnum. I think that might be the biggest one I've ever caught all week. It's a magnum. I knew it was a big one, but I was like, I didn't think it was that big. Oh my gosh. Holy smoke, it's a big one. That's a gosh dang magnum, buddies. Ding!
Wheeler ups his smallmouth weight average with that one there for sure, puts him all the way up into third place from fifth. Now back into fifth is Seth Feider. So between these two guys, well, it's Feider's turn to respond.
You know, another decent bite would throw me up a lot in weight because I got a pretty small one in there. You know, just plugging around this milfoil with a little jig and trying to catch a big one. Not really messing with the smallmouths anymore. I mean, I know there's 4-pound smallies out there, but I mean, I could catch another 5-pounder here on this jig, so I'm gonna stick to the game plan and try to win this thing. We ain't got much time left though, probably about 20, 25 minutes left of fishing. I didn't get a lot of practice, good practice in. First day was rainy and cloudy, you couldn't see nothing. Basically found everything I got the second day of practice, because Yep. Yeah! Boom! Yeah, bud. Yeah, bud. $4 1/4 probably. You never know when you're gonna get a bite. Just flip it 3,000 times and you pick up on it, it's tight.
Well, the way he describes it, it sounds pretty random, Davey, but it's a plan, and it's a plan that works for Seth Feider. He keeps moving back in the right direction after starting this day in second place. And how about this guy starting his day in 19th place? Aaron Martin's all the way up into second. That's unbelievable.
It really is. Typically, you only have 12 anglers on the final day. Today, we have 51 fishing. The weights are so close, so tight. People can make moves up and down the leaderboard. Aaron Martin has made a move, and he's certainly going up the leaderboard.
Yeah, pretty close to record-setting territory, and definitely our Mercury bold move of the day. 19th place all the way, well, right to the top.
Yeah, when we started this morning on Championship Sunday with 51 anglers, we heard several of those guys talking about how they could move down, how they could lose points, but not Aaron Martin's. He's been thinking all day, I've got a chance to win this thing. He told his wife and his kids, if I catch 23 pounds today, I can actually win this thing.
Yeah, well, let's find out if he did. Go to the weigh-in.
From Leeds, Alabama, A-Mart, Aaron Martins. 35 pounds, 7 ounces. He's looking for 21.15. 23 pounds, 5 ounces. 23.5. And the Furious Hog Snatcher has returned. From Indianapolis, Indiana, Jacob Wheeler. Let's get side by side, guys. Aaron, come on over here, side by side. We're about to find out. Needs 20 pounds, 5 ounces. 18 pounds, 2 ounces. A-Mart gets it done, and the Furious Hog Snatcher has returned at the 8th stop of the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Well, for Aaron Martin's 2 or 3 years, that's kind of a drought, but right now serving notice that he is back in a big way. Atop the field, they're next to the last event of the year on the Bassmaster Elite Series.
The Advanced Auto Parts Bassmaster Elite at St. Clair is brought to you by Berkeley, Shell Rotella, Minn Kota, and by Yamaha.
23 pounds, 5 ounces!
How many times do you have to say it? The incredible Aaron Martins with his 9th Bassmaster victory for the 3-time Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year champion. And what style? I mean, the biggest comeback of all time. 19th place all the way to the top on that final day, Davey. Hats off to Aaron.
Truly incredible, the job Aaron Martins did. 19th place, he set an all-time comeback record. Records are made to be broken, but this one probably will not. We had 50 guys fishing on the final day, normally have 12. Aaron came back from 19th place, blindsided a lot of these guys.
All right, we leave Champlain now. We go to another, as we called it, bucket list place for the final event of the regular season. And our Yamaha Unlock the Lake will show us Lake St. Clair is only slightly smaller itself than Champlain, but when you add what it connects to, you have a vast fishery.
Yeah, vast fishery is an understatement. You have Lake Erie, the Detroit River, St. Clair itself, the St. Clair River, and Huron. Guys will have to narrow down at least which part of these lakes they're going to try to fish, but I think most guys will focus on Lake St. Clair. It has been on fire all year long. I think that'll definitely be the place to be, and record catching limits will be caught.
Certainly panned out on the first day of these 4 days of competition on Lake St. Clair. Bradley Roy, who at one time was the youngest angler ever to fish the Bassmaster Elite Series, 23 pounds and 3 ounces to take the lead on day number 1. Would he be able to hold on to it? Start a wire-to-wire campaign? No, day number 2 would bring Mississippi's Brock Mosley into the picture. 25-pound barrier, he breaks that with a half a pound to spare. Brock Mosley takes the lead into day number 3.
Yeah, having the lead on day 3, you want to have a plan A and a plan B, something to fall back on. Brock Mosley, a bright young star in our sport, that's for sure, and he does have a plan A and B. A lot of pressure on him today. He went to plan B, put a limit of fish in the live well, flipping docks, fishing along these seawalls, that sort of thing, to just get a solid limit in so he could settle down and go back out on the main lake and drop shot a little later in the day. He's been able to catch those bigger fish each day, and those are the ones he's been able to take to the scales.
And both afternoons I've had a good bite. We got 3 hours, plenty of time. Just need a couple of the right bites. But we need 2 more good ones. Need 2 good ones. There he is. Oh yeah, good one too. Big one, coming up. Big one. Watch out. Please stay on. We ain't done.
Brock Mosley on day number 3, he was trying to replicate what happened on day number 2 when he busted 25 pounds. But meanwhile, on that same morning, let's take it back to the start of the day. The Geico Bassmaster Classic champion Jordan Lee, not too far from where Brock Mosley's fishing.
Stay hooked up. It's a giant. This is a big one. God, you just can't horse them though. Oh, come here. Oh, what a way to start right there, boys. Look at that one. That's every bit of 5 3/4. Good Lord, what a fish. Gosh, that's a 6-pounder. Oh my goodness. Gosh, what a toad. Oh my goodness. Man, he tangled me all up. I do not care. Oh my gosh, I'm shaking. Oh, that'll wake you up in the morning.
Yeah, that was the perfect wake-up call, and in fact, the start of a very productive day, as everyone gathered around at the weigh-in would find out.
Looking for 22 pounds, 5 ounces to take the lead. 25 pounds, 9 ounces! Jordan Lee once again crushes him on the Elite Series. The Carhartt Pro is your brand new leader.
So Jordan Lee cracks the 25-pound mark to take over the lead after the 3rd day of fishing on Lake St. Clair, and there he takes the 3.5-pound lead into the final day ahead of Jason Christie, Brock Mosley hanging in there, Mark Daniels Jr., a well-performing rookie, and we'll see what happens on the final day. This is it, the last day of school, the final day of the regular season. Advance Auto Parts Bassmaster Elite at Lake St. Clair, Macomb County, Michigan. This is it. Final day with 12 anglers shooting for the last available Blue Trophy Championship of the year. Postseason looms ahead. Hope you've had a great season, especially if you played Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. If you want to check that out, presented by Toyota, go to bassmasterfantasy.com. These anglers really got one more day to get the job done, maybe get a few points and get closer and closer to where they want to be at the very end of the season. Boy, they've all got something different on their minds today.
Day 4, St. Clair, we're in the lead, and you know, I'm excited. It's where you want to be, and it's gonna be a fun day, so hopefully we can get it going.
Today we're just gonna go out and we're gonna try to grind out 5 good bites. I'm gonna stay on the lake all day, more than likely, and you know, we're gonna fish for 5 big ones.
Cut day off a big bag yesterday, man. Anything can happen out here on St. Clair. There's some freaking nature-sized swallowmouth running around out here. A lot of them are rogue, just covering a lot of water, trying to get them to bite, and hopefully we can catch us a couple big ones.
My 4th cut of the year. What a year. The first 2 years I never made the cut, and to get the ball rolling, it's how I expect to catch them. And It's awesome. Brother's going out number 1. We're right behind him. It's awesome. Awesome.
The two brothers, the Auburn Tigers, Jordan Lee and Matt Lee, bookending the top 5 as all 12 of our boats now are headed out to their spots for this final day. And of course, this Metro Flats area, Davey, not too far from the launch there, has been very, very productive.
This week, these guys have really caught some 4, 5, even 6-pound smallmouth in this area. But the thing that concerns me is got a lot of pressure, and I don't know if it can hold up for another day.
Well, that's what Jordan Lee is wondering about, because his day number 3 was so spectacular. Here he is on day number 4, actually in a matchup with his own brother.
Well, we were both pretty surprised where we ended up. For us to be in the top 12, it's been a good week, no matter what, you know. I mean, Matt had one fish at 11 o'clock the first day and catches 23 pounds. From what I've seen in numbers, you know, some guys probably catching them, but for the most part, it hadn't been a numbers game. Come on, baby. I would love to have you. Yes. Number 1, baby. Number 1. Tell you want to start.
Took a considerably longer amount of time to get the first one on the board today for Jordan Lee, but he's right, that is a good way to start. With that, he maintains his lead as we go out to his brother, Matt Lee, fishing a good ways away over there on the Canadian side. And Matt Lee, Jordan Lee, these two guys, if you follow bass fishing, if you're a real bass fishing fan, Davey, you've been following these guys since their college days, which were actually quite spectacular.
Yeah, spectacular to say the least. I can't imagine being brothers and competing against one another on the highest level each and every time, whether it's in the college series, through the opens, and now on the Bassmaster Elite. You're battling with your brother, and they've both been very, very successful.
And it was actually Matt Lee was the first to win a classic bracket matchup against Jordan Lee. Matt was the first of the two brothers to qualify for the Geico Bassmaster Classic, and that was back in 2012 to fish the 2013 Classic. So Matt Lee has had his high points as well.
We've got, what, 5 hours left, and really need to catch 4 fish. It easily happened in the last 20 minutes too, so I feel really good about it. This wind's gonna have them biting, and we're anchored out here. We're gonna lay the hammer. Biggin. Biggin, stay on there. Oh my gosh, what a smallmouth. Oh my gosh. Oh, come on, don't you throw it. Just gonna see the boat and freak out. Come here. Woo! Not even as big as I thought, but hey, now we rolling. Give me some skin. A little late start, but we rolling. Gosh, you got it deep too.
Jordan Lee with 1 keeper. Now Matt Lee with 2 keepers puts him all the way up into second place, right behind his brother as we head out to Brock Mosley, the man who caught 25 pounds and had the lead after day number 2.
The wind does affect, you know, how I feel my bites, you know. There's no grass. It's hard to tell the difference between a bite and grass because, you know, my drop shot weight's down in the grass and, you know, I'm kind of having to drag it a little bit. You know, it's not like the fish are coming up and thumping it, you know, they'll just kind of move off with it. There he is. We finally got a bass. Oh, it's a big one. Oh, it's a big one. Golly, he come off in the boat. Woo! Holy smokes. Wow, how do you explain that? It come off in my hands and I caught it. Golly, I can't believe that happened. That's unreal. That's when you know you're living right.
Well, if you've ever fished a bass tournament where you're not allowed to use a dip net, you know that 99 times out of 100 those fish come off. Brock Mosley is certainly living right.
Absolutely. That was not a percentage play right there for sure. He was a little bit lucky to get that one in the boat. Right now, let's move from Brock Mosley, a celebratory Brock Mosley, out to Jason Christie. And one of his big advantages, he'll tell you this week, is having been left alone in his spot.
It's the only place I got. I mean, it's not places. I'm fishing 10, 15 stretches, you know, in this 2 to 3 mile section, but this is where I've caught all my fish, and this is where we're gonna fight at. Caught a 510 yesterday, and I hadn't seen one, I don't think, over 5 pounds. I've seen a lot of 4-pounders. You know, St. Clair's got so many 4-pounders. A lot of lakes you want to catch a 3 to 3.5 to 4-pounder gets you above everybody else, but not here. A 3-pound average gets you last place. Don't you do it, don't you do it. Don't like them jumping. Come here, girl. I'll take you for a ride. Come here. Got you. Oh, she came off. But I got her in my hand. She came off and I grabbed her. God, he choked it. I gotta hurry and get back out there because there's a school of them. Hopefully the school stays with us.
Well, if you've ever smallmouth fished, the key is to get a school fired up, and once you get them fired up, you want to stay with them.
Stay with us. Obviously, we're headed toward a dramatic conclusion, and we'll wrap up the whole season when we return.
The Advanced Auto Parts Bassmaster Elite at St. Clair is brought to you by Triton Boats, Power Pole, Nitro Boats, and by Mercury.
Final day of the Advanced Auto Parts Bassmaster Elite at Lake St. Clair. There's your unofficial score at this point. Jason Christie having taken over the lead from Jordan Lee and working in a spot he's been by himself most all week, Davey.
Well, I've been fishing Lake St. Clair on and off for about 20 years now, and Jason Christie is using something that has always been a mainstay at Lake St. Clair. He's using a 4-inch Yum tube, green pumpkin color, with a 3/4 ounce jig head in it. The bait falls fast, and you get these fish to react. The ones that are just laying on the bottom and that really aren't actively feeding, once you get them fired up, you can keep them going, and that's what Jason Christie has been able to do. He's been fishing this one general area, and that changes from year to year. And Jason Christie has really found out where these bigger fish are wanting to be.
We got him.
Jason Christie catching them with regularity and landing just about all of them as well. He is plowing through this final day. Let's take a look. Our first look, as a matter of fact, this year at Mark Daniels Jr. Mark Daniels, one of that outstanding rookie class we have in place for 2017. He has been in that hunt all year long, looking for that top title. He's in 3rd place, though, right now. This native of California is having a terrific tournament here on St. Clair and a great season.
He certainly had a great year. A great young fisherman. I actually talked to him before this season started, and I could tell he really had his game on. He's had a good tournament here, but certainly got him catching this big muskie. If you've ever caught one of those, it is truly a joy, even if you're in a bass tournament.
Don't jump. Don't jump. No, don't. Don't do that. Don't do that. Come here, baby. Come here.
Woo. Now that's what we came for. That's what we came to see. Right there. Bam.
Oh, that is a nice smallmouth keeper from Mark Daniels Jr. having a great day, a great tournament. Ditto for this guy right here, Jason Christie. Has been just absolutely brilliant in this little part of the lake. He's had all to himself, fishing it really old style.
You know, I'm just dropping a tube, and I'm dropping a real heavy tube just because I want it to surprise them, you know. Most guys do a drop shot, and I do. I got one laid on the deck, but I'm just able to cast it. I can drop it, and I can use this heavier weight with a bait caster. You know, we got a lot of sand grass down there, and I can't rip it hard enough with spinning rod to keep it clean. This is a part of the show that's going to be edited when it takes like 5 minutes to get one in. You just can't horse them, because when you get them up here next to the boat, they go crazy. It's like he's doing now. He'll definitely help.
We have seen this from Jason Christie before, everything absolutely clicking on the final day. And you talk about a guy that's scaring 90 pounds, there he is right there. And on the other side of the coin, the story of Jordan Lee, his final day so different from day 3, Davey.
Yeah, what do you do on the final day? The day after you caught 25 pounds, a 6-pounder, you go back and do the exact same thing. But I was really worried for these guys a lot of these guys fishing around one another, if they could withstand one more day of pressure. And so far, it doesn't look like.
I think that's St. Clair, and you know, somebody right beside you. I mean, it happened this week. You know, guys were right beside me. Somebody right out here, you know, you could win the tournament. You know, right out there. Or this lake will drive you crazy. It hadn't driven me crazy the last couple of days, but today it's tested my patience. I'm just gonna let him right here. You son of a... Gosh.
Oh, don't let that one come up. Jordan Lee really needs this one to come in the boat. That'll make his 3rd keeper, and so little time left in his fishing day, it's really, really unlikely he's going to even approach the weight he had on day number 3.
12 minutes left.
All day long and all the setbacks, and only 3 keepers to show for it for Jordan Lee, who started with the lead this day. Who would it be? Jason Christie, the one who was able to climb to the top. Let's go to the weigh-in right now.
Currently sitting in 2nd place in our Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year race from Park Hill, Oklahoma, Jason Christie. Looking for 19-14, 22 pounds even with 88.8. Jason Christie is your brand new leader. Let's hear it for him, ladies and gentlemen. From Grant, Alabama, Jordan Lee. Looking for 18-12 to take the title from Jason Christie. 12 pounds, 6 ounces. Christie crushes him on Championship Sunday, and he is your champion.
Oklahoma's Jason Christie. He's had 3 now Elite Series victories since then, and 5 Bassmaster victories overall. This one on St. Clair was very, very timely, and that tightened the gap between him and Brandon Polinick as they raced toward Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year at the end of the postseason. Davey Height, I guess as we enter now the Shell Rotella Bassmaster Garage, it's up to us to sort of break down, or really up to you to break down how these victories took place, and we'll start with Aaron Martins.
Well, Aaron Martins did a great job the final day, the 3rd day in this case, but on Championship Sunday, he'd been catching good fish, a lot of smallmouth, and on that final day, he was struggling a little bit. and moved in a little shallower trying to find where those fish had moved, and he ran into some greenfish, some largemouth, and that's the kind of fish it took. Those fish were just a little healthier and bigger, having that big stringer on the final day, just moving in a little shallower, fishing the same general area, fishing scattered grass with a drop shot.
Biggest comeback of all time. And now that lead at St. Clair was a hot potato. Nobody wanted to keep it for more than a day.
You're at St. Clair, you've got to know a big tube is going to be involved. Jason Christie using a 3/4 ounce Yum tube all week long, and he was able to stay on the schools of fish during the entire tournament.
The old traditional tube does it in the end on Lake St. Clair, and that does it for the season, 2017 regular season for the Bassmaster Elite Series. Thanks for being with us today, and the next time we see you, we will be on Mille Lacs in Minnesota for Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year.